is money. In this video, I'll share with you what is the biggest time stealer for all managers and entrepreneurs. Stay tuned. Hi, my name is Angie and I worked with over 25,000 managers across different industries in various firms that are successful, and I became now the executive learning and development manager for one famous organization. And I'll be sharing with you what is the biggest time stealer for all managers and leaders as well as entrepreneurs. So communication is the key. So what steals the most of the time is the lack of good communication. So I worked with various managers, leaders, even executives, chief executive officers, those who are very good at their job. They know what they do. They know how to leverage human potential. However, there are certain things that actually makes them feel slow in their execution. And many of them came to me and say, you know what, Angie, I really don't know what's going on with my team. You know, we have all resources, we have the money, we have everything to execute faster. However, there is something that actually blocks them, and there is a lack of communication between all of us. So I'm curious what's really happening. And my answer to that executive was, well, how basically the communication flows from you as a chief executive officer to the entry-level positions. And he was like, oh well, actually I'm not quite sure, you know, I just delegate in a way and tell people what they need to do, and I realize there are many of them, those who are coming back to me and saying they don't understand the things, and some of them they do the things the wrong way. And then I realized the root cause of these examples where this executive officer wasting time is lack of his communication skills to explain in a simple way to those managers below how to execute a certain task, which also prevents those managers in the middle level to actually execute the message to the entry level in a proper way. So as you can see, it's like a chain, you know, domino effect. If you do not communicate something properly on the top, and actually goes to the bottom down in a wrong way, which of course delays the processes, and then you are not effective in your work day. So now, what is the simplest technique that I realized over training 25,000 people around, if I'm actually, I calculated correctly. I train those managers and I help them how to become better leaders. One of the skills that I train them is the communication skill. Basically, the simple techniques, how to understand different personalities and how to apply the simplest techniques to basically save their time. Because what I realized that, going back to the story about the chief executive officer who was actually frustrated why the things are not going in the right direction even though they have everything, is because they have a lack of communication, which actually caused the loss of their time. And you know that for each successful manager and leader, the wasting your time is, I think, the worst thing that can happen for your business or for your organization, because you need to maximize your time, you need to leverage the people resources in the most effective time-wise manner. So for him, the most important thing was like, okay, we then need to learn how to communicate in a very precise and a good way, so then we save our time, because the time is money, as I said in the beginning of this video. So now let's go straight to the point. What is the technique that I train over 25,000 managers and leaders over the years of my experience, now actually 8 years of my experience, is GAS technique. It's a very simple acronym which actually helps a lot of people to understand actually what it's all about and to keep in the mind and never forget. So G, starting with the G as the first one, is goal of the communication. So what is the goal, objective of your communication? What you really want to deliver to the person who you're communicating to, and starting thinking with the end in your mind. Meaning, you start from the end. What basically you want to deliver? What is the message you really want that person to get it, right? So you start from there. and then you define your message, what you want to communicate. Then the second thing, which is the part of acronym GAS, is A, approach. What is the approach? Will you communicate in person, or will you actually communicate via email, or maybe you will basically pick up the phone and call that person, and how you will deliver it, right? Do you maybe need to use some different visual aids or not? Or if message is very simple, you can maybe just verbally deliver it. So there are different various ways how you can approach to that, and how you're gonna approach to that person as well, which also involves understanding a little bit that person in communication and personality style that that person actually has. But this is a topic for another video, because there is so much to talk about different personality styles and how they impact communication in general, which I'll be definitely sharing on this channel. And then we have actually S as the last step, which is simple. Means simple message. When you go to the person to deliver the message, you need to make sure that the message is as simple as possible. And one of the key problems for the executive officer that I was speaking about earlier is that actually he overcomplicated the message, that basically middle management didn't understand properly, or they missed couple of important info, which actually caused a lot of mistakes later on. So the message needs to be very simple. You need to understand who you are delivering that message. What language do you need to use? What words do you need to use? Like, does that person is maybe on the higher level, that is more educated, or that person is more actually into the topic, so then you can give them more details and explain them in a more wider way. However, if the person is somebody who basically actually doesn't know much about it, but you want to deliver them the message in an easier way, then basically you need to use very simple words. So I will give you an example. If you are in the financial world and you want to deliver the message to your accountant to process a certain invoice by the end of the day, because it's very urgent and you need to actually pay supplier to just avoid the delay in the production, then you need to basically understand, okay, so my objective is I need to tell my accountant to pay this, actually to process this invoice by the end of the day. So that's my goal of the communication. So the person to process the invoice by the end of the day. So okay, so I need to tell that. How I'm gonna tell that? Where is that accountant? Is it far away from me? Can I actually talk to them via phone? Or if that person is really good by communicating by the phone? Or shall I just hit actually the send very simple email? Or I should maybe just go and talk in person with that actually accountant. So it's basically what you decide based on your experience with that person, and then the simple how you're going to deliver that message. You just need to go to, let's say, Jane, accountant, and say, hey Jane, could you please process this invoice by the end of today, by the end of this day, because we need to pay supplier by tomorrow, because they need to actually deliver those parts to us as soon as possible, and that's kind of in a higher priority list than comparing to other things. So when you actually deliver it in that way, where you give the goal, where you give you basically in a very simple, very precise way, the person is going to understand. So GAS technique is one of the most effective techniques that I've been using over the years, and I train over 25,000 managers to use this technique as well. And I realized increased number of them who were like literally maximizing and doubling their efficiencies in the processes, because they just keep this acronym in mind when they want to deliver something important. Also in the meetings as well, or any other occasion or setting, you can use GAS model. So try it and let me know your experience in the comment below. And if you would like me to actually cover different personality styles when it comes to communication, please let me know down in the comment. And of course, if you would like to learn more on this channel about the leadership, communication and management, then just hit that subscribe button and then follow the channel where I will be sharing a lot of different topics about the management, leadership, communication, etc. So until the next time, stay ambitious.